The first time I saw Alex, he was balancing a bottle of Sancerre in one hand and a chef's knife in the other, like he couldn't decide which he trusted more. We were in the test kitchen at Benson & Vale, a West Coast gourmet grocery chain with a cult following, prepping for a media tasting. I had joined the company 6 months earlier, and to my surprise, the VP, Richard Benson, liked to cook for these events himself. I was already chopping fennel when Alex appeared. He gave me a crooked grin, nodded at my cutting board, and said, "You mince like you mean it." "Better than I flirt," I replied without glancing up. Richard chuckled behind me. "Ember's our rising star. Show respect or she'll outshine you," he said. I soon learned Alex was Richard's nephew. He didn't officially work in our department, marketing technically, but Richard pulled him into events whenever he needed extra hands. And I had to admit, those hands were impressive in a kitchen. That night, after the last guest left and the room glowed in amber light, Alex and I clinked glasses over the remnants of a goat cheese tart. He tilted his head. "You really love this, huh?" "What tart?" "No, feeding people, creating something that stops them mid-sentence." I hadn't realized it showed. "Yeah," I murmured. "I guess I do." 3 months later, we were dating. 6 months after that, engaged. A year in total, we married in a small ceremony overlooking the Sound, with Richard giving a toast that made me cry into my Prosecco. At the reception, Alex leaned close and whispered, "You know what I'm looking forward to most?" I smiled. "What?" "You cooking every day for the rest of my life." I was stupidly happy. We moved into a sleek condo in Fremont, with a galley kitchen I immediately claimed. Open shelves, copper pans, spices alphabetized. Alex joked it was more organized than the IRS. He devoured everything I cooked. "You cook like you're competing," he'd say between bites of black garlic risotto or harissa lamb, licking his plate, kissing my cheek, and telling me he was the luckiest man alive. That lasted 6 months until the call came. "She's been alone since Dad passed," Alex said, perched on the edge of our bed, phone still warm in his hand. "Mom wants us to move in, just for a bit, until she adjusts." Adjusts? I blinked. It had been almost 2 years. "She's lonely." I hesitated. "We just got married. She's family." I should have said no. I should have insisted newlyweds need boundaries. But I didn't want to be that daughter-in-law, the one who pulls him away. So I agreed. Sharon lived in a 2-story Craftsman in Magnolia. Perfect hedges, glass figurines on every shelf, not a single fingerprint on her stainless steel appliances. She greeted me with a smile that didn't reach her eyes, and a hug faintly scented with Chanel. "I've heard so much about you," she said, squeezing my arms like measuring muscle tone. "And your cooking. Alex says you're quite the chef." I laughed nervously. "Well, I love to feed people." "Wonderful," she said, still smiling. "I look forward to seeing what you can do." For the first few weeks, everything seemed fine. I worked remotely, cooked, and Sharon handled laundry and vacuuming with military precision. Alex seemed relieved to be back in his childhood home. Then came the first jab. I made lemon chicken with couscous and roasted carrots, simple, elegant. Sharon took a bite, dabbed her lips, and said, "Well, that's zesty. Too much lemon." "Just an unexpected choice," I said. She set down her fork. "When I make chicken, it doesn't fight back." Alex laughed too loudly. He didn't defend me, but he didn't stop her either. The comments kept coming, little, helpful things. "You don't have to make everything from scratch, dear. No one expects gourmet on a Tuesday. Next time, try boiling the pasta first. My lasagna doesn't slump like that. Must be your bakeware." I tried to laugh it off, but inside, I was simmering. I told Alex gently, "She's undermining me." He frowned. "She's old school. It's not personal. She just doesn't know you yet." But that wasn't true. She knew me. She just didn't respect me. It all came to a boil on a rainy Thursday. I had spent hours braising short ribs in red wine. The kitchen smelled of thyme and garlic. I plated them over Parmesan polenta with blistered green beans. We served. We raised our forks. Then Sharon sniffed. "God," she said, wrinkling her nose. This smells like something you'd feed a dog. The words hung in the air like smoke. I froze. Alex's fork paused midair. He looked at me, then at his mother, and said nothing. Nothing. She pushed her plate away, offended. I can't. Sorry. It's too heavy. I looked down at my dish, the one I had carefully seared, seasoned, and coaxed to perfection. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I stood, cleared my plate, and walked out in silence. Behind me, I heard Alex chew slowly, deliberately, as if that made him neutral. I slept on the couch that night. The next morning, Sharon made toast and coffee, acting like nothing happened. I didn't mean anything by it, she said sweetly. You're just so sensitive. I looked at her. She really studied me. Not to help, she was competing. Every bite I took felt like a challenge. Every compliment Alex gave was a victory she couldn't bear to lose. That was the moment something inside me shifted. Not broken, just crystallized. A week later, Alex walked in with a plan. She's turning 60 next weekend, he said. I want to throw her a dinner. Low-key, but special. I raised an eyebrow. And you want me to cook? He nodded. She'll appreciate it. I smiled. Not excitement. Readiness. The invitation was simple, a handwritten note tucked in folded linen napkins, dinner for Sharon. 60 years of grace. Saturday, 7 p.m. I spent the week preparing like a strategist. Not dramatic, no poison, no oversalted revenge. Just careful, precise planning. I pulled out French cookbooks, crafted a refined, modest menu. Not flair excellence she couldn't deny. Thursday night, Alex found me stirring tomato confit for tartlets. He leaned in the doorway, hesitant. Going all out, he said. Trying something simple, I replied. Don't want her thinking I'm showing off. He watched silently. Then, softly, thanks for doing this. I know it's tense. Tense, indeed. Sharon's night arrived under an early spring sunset, everything bathed in gold. I set the table with eucalyptus garlands, antique plates, flickering candles. It looked beautiful. Worthy. Guests, family only. Alex's cousins, Richard, fresh from Montreal, and Sharon herself, dressed in beige pearls, inspecting the table like it owed her money. Richard hugged me at the door. You've outdone yourself, he whispered. Sharon sat at the head. I plated each dish carefully, saying nothing. Roasted beet and chèvre tartlets first. Saffron risotto with scallops next. Finally, duck à l'orange with confit shallots and charred broccolini. Polite murmurs turned to praise. Cousins asked for seconds. Richard gave a subtle thumbs up. Sharon. She glared at her plate as if it insulted her personally. Then turned, smiling, not kindness, but cruelty with lipstick. I have to say, she declared loudly, stilling the table, this smells familiar. Almost like the canned dog food my neighbor buys. Fancy label, still garbage inside. I didn't flinch. Didn't speak. Richard froze mid-cut. Alex cleared his throat. Mom, no. I'm just saying, Sharon continued, it's impressive how Ember dresses up mediocrity in lovely presentation. I sipped wine. I appreciate your feedback, as always. Blink. Not the reaction she wanted. Silence stretched. Richard smiled, but cold. Actually, Sharon, he said. Funny you mention that. He set his fork down. I made this meal. Everyone turned. Sorry. Sharon's voice tightened. Every dish, Richard said calmly. Ember and I prepped together. She coordinated, but the cooking? That was me. He let it hang. Sharon's face went pale, then blotchy pink. Alex looked confused, embarrassed, guilty. You wait, Sharon stammered. You're saying I insulted my food? Richard stayed calm. The same duck I served French clients in Marseilles. The same risotto published in Culinary Trade Monthly. Dog food. Yes. Silence. Candle wax seemed to drip audibly. Richard folded his napkin slowly. I've watched how you treat her, he said quietly. And how you let it slide. Frankly, I'm disgusted. Sharon shrank. Richard, I brought Ember into this family. I endorsed her, and you repay that by belittling her, undermining her gift. To feel important again? No answer. I knew you'd say something tonight. That's why I cooked. Not the food, it's you. That's the problem. Sharon left without finishing wine. Alex followed, muttering unwanted apologies. Cousins chatted awkwardly until Richard quietly clinked his glass. Let's give them space. After everyone left, I cleaned. 30 minutes later, Alex returned. 10 years older. She's upset, he said. Obviously. She says she didn't know it was a joke. I laughed, not amused. She's been joking for months. Then, I thought she'd ease up. If I didn't pick a side, she'd calm down. I turned to him. But you did pick a side, Alex. He looked at me as if he didn't understand, as if he still hoped to remain neutral in a war where neutrality meant complicity. I defended you to her, he said weakly, but never in front of her. He looked away. I finished washing the last dish and hung the towel. I'm moving into a short-term rental next week, I said. His eyes widened. You're leaving? I'm taking space. What about us? What about me? I asked softly. He didn't answer. Later that night, a message buzzed on my phone from Richard. You handled that with more dignity than I ever could. If you need anything, business or otherwise, you have my support. Proud of you. I stared at it for a long moment before finally letting myself cry. 3 weeks had passed since I moved out. My new place was a small, boxy short-term rental on Queen Anne. Quiet. I brought only essentials, knives, books, spices, and 2 cast iron pans. When you leave silently, you pack light. Alex texted most days. Thinking about you. Mom's asking how you're doing. Can we talk? I didn't reply to most. Not because I hated him, I didn't, but because love, when undefended, dissolves. One silence at a time. Richard had offered me a consulting project with Benson and Vale's international division. I said yes. I was halfway through building their supplier onboarding strategy when Alex called one afternoon, sounding rehearsed. Hey. Mom wants to apologize. I sat down. Really? She's planning a Sunday dinner. She asked if you'd come. A laugh escaped me before I could stop it. That's rich. She insists it's genuine. Does she know what that word means? He sighed. I know she's been awful. But she's different lately. Quieter. She even made stew from scratch the other night. That's not an apology, Alex. That's performance. I'm not saying I owe her anything. I think she knows she went too far. And I think it scares her. There was a pause. You don't have to eat anything. Just come. Please. If not for her, then for me. I said nothing for a long time. Then text me the time. The house smelled like beef and thyme. A large casserole sat in the center of the table, steam rising. Sharon stood behind it, tight smile, spotless apron, hands clasped. Ember, she said formally. Thank you for coming. I nodded. You wanted to say something. She glanced at Alex, then back at me. I was unkind and cruel. I let my pride get in the way. You didn't deserve it. Her hands trembled. When you left, it felt like the house shrank, not because you were gone, but because the truth stayed. Alex reached for my hand under the table. I didn't move. I made dinner, Sharon said. Thought it was only fair I try feeding you for once. I hope you'll stay. She served stew, meat dark and rich, broth thick with carrots and potatoes. I tasted it. Okay. Salty, but edible. She watched me like a student awaiting a grade. It's good, I said flatly. She exhaled. Thank you. Alex smiled. She's been working on that recipe for weeks. I looked at him. Really? He nodded. She even texted Richard for feedback. Chem. The rest of dinner was awkward but civil. No insults, no snide comments. Just a woman gingerly crossing a bridge she had helped burn. After clearing plates, Sharon brought out dessert. Homemade tiramisu. I know you love it, she said softly. Thought I'd try. Alex served it, humming to himself, hopeful. I took a bite. The texture was off, runny, Strange. Not terrible until it hit my tongue. Metallic, unmistakably wrong. I frowned, swallowed carefully, and pushed the plate back. What is it? Alex asked. I looked at Sharon. What did you put in the cream? She froze. Alex turned to her. Mom. She stared at her hands. I followed a recipe from a video. Some French cooking blog. I stood. There's meat in this. What? Alex said. Raw liver. Bone meal. Something protein-rich and not remotely sweet. Don't be ridiculous, Sharon began. I walked to the fridge and opened the trash bin. On top sat a discarded aluminum pouch. No label, unmistakable foil. Jesus, I muttered. You used dog food puree. Her face went pale. I didn't mean to, she stammered. I thought it was duck mousse. Stop, I said, cold. Alex looked as if he'd been shot. You said this was your apology. But even your apology couldn't come without humiliation. No, she shouted, voice cracking. I thought it was. I really thought. No, Sharon. You wanted to remind me what I am to you. She broke. You took him from me. I blinked. Excuse me. You took my son. You made everything about you. You were perfect with food, your job, your calm face. I couldn't compete. There it was. Dog food comments, passive digs disguised as etiquette. Not about taste. About territory. You're right, I said softly. You couldn't compete because I wasn't trying to win. Alex sat stunned. I turned to him. She tried to feed me dog food again, and you let me come here. I didn't know. That's your phrase for everything, isn't it? He looked broken. Please don't go. I was already at the door. A month later, I moved out of the city. Full-time consulting at Benson and Vale. Richard connected me with a culinary incubator in Portland. Small space for testing recipes and pop-ups. I called it Backbone because that's what it took to survive in a kitchen and in families like his. We opened quietly. No marketing push, just word of mouth. People came, stayed, came back. One night, months later, I found Richard waiting with a glass of wine. She tried to book under another name, he said. I laughed. Good call. She wanted me to tell you she's in therapy now. Trying what? Not to poison dessert, he grinned. I sat beside him. I don't hate her. I just can't live next to rot and pretend it's soil. He raised his glass. To boundaries. We clinked. Alex sent a handwritten letter once. He apologized, said he understood that watching me walk away made him realize his silence. He hoped I was happy. I didn't reply. Some things are better left unsalted.